God has told me some years ago with all humility. I saw Nigeria becoming like Dubai. Write this thing down. If Christ does not come, I saw Nigeria become like Dubai. It will go back to those days. Okay, those days, Ghanaians were going to Nigeria, Agege, to like Libya. They were going to take work and get money like Ablochwe. That thing is coming back again like 3 times. So the old generation, God wants to end it and start a new generation. Last 2 years, late last 2 years, God told me that youth will take over the nation Nigeria. So when this man comes, you will see 30 years old as ministers. You will see say youth taking leadership roles, and they will think about their friends. They will bring more vibrancy. They will pass laws that will favor them and their other things. No, this is what the Lord told me. No one can change it. Listen, no one can change it.
And secondly, what would you say about people that are saying some people are too young to be governors in Lagos because they're just 40 years of age?
Well, thank you, Rufai. You know, on issue of somebody being young and modern, it's laughable. It's actually, we should actually stop it from being old and contest. If I have my way, if we can retire our bishops at 70, retire our professors at 70, Supreme Court at 70, it's time we put age for this our politics, so that people can also retire.
Last 2 years, late last 2 years, God told me that youth will take over the nation Nigeria. So when this man comes, you will see 30 years old as ministers.
Because there's the reason why we say at 70, 75, people should go and rest. So let us, is these people that are saying it that are bringing confusion?
So the old generation, God wants to end it and start a new generation. Last 2 years, late last 2 years, God told me that youth will take over the nation Nigeria. So when this man comes, you will see 30 years old as ministers.
Age of 40 is age where people are becoming or became president in America, the world's biggest economy, 25 trillion, and you're just 400 billion. And you're talking about age. That is the right age, the right background, the right education.
Responding to the point you made about age, maybe you want to clarify that. He said it's not about age. The task of nation building is a mutual responsibility between the young and the old. The old contributing experience and maturity, and the young collaborating with audacity and diversity.
And listen to what he said. We need experience of age. But the age and the old have not used that experience. Rather, what they are doing is claiming experience in failure. They've not used it to progress the place. Rather, they tell you, do you know I've been doing this for 30 years? And so what? The place failed. How can you claim experience in failure?
Last 2 years, late last 2 years, God told me that youth will take over the nation Nigeria. So when this man comes, you will see 30 years old as ministers.
If you have been doing it for 30 years and we're in this mess, then you should actually cover yourself in shame. Not saying I've been around for 20 years. Thereby, it's my entitlement. No. You have to claim entitlement where things are progressing, where things are going well. And that's what it should be.
Okay. Now, one of the reasons why the age conversation has come up, particularly with Gbadebo Rodsvivo in Lagos State, is also looking at his political experience. So beyond just his biological age, what some people have said is that he doesn't have that political heritage. He doesn't have that experience in governance and public service. I'd like you to speak to that, please, because it's beyond age. It's also the fact that, so you talked about the fact that he went to MIT, fantastic, Ivy League school. However, they're saying that if you're going to, govern a diverse, cosmopolitan city like Lagos, you would need more than an MIT certificate. What do you have to say to that?
Which experience? When you talk about experience, my sister, when I was campaigning to be governor of Anambra State, I've never worked in government. I've never had anything to do with government. I was faced with the same thing. I was his age. I started campaigning in 2003. 2001, I was just 39. By the time that the election took place, I was 41, 42. So I was at that age. And it was the same thing. People were saying, hey, who is he? He has never worked in government before. He has not done this before. The only experience they can claim is the same experience of corruption, experience of stealing, experience of doing the wrong thing. In fact, at times it's good to bring somebody who doesn't have that experience so he can clean up the mess. I came in without that experience, and when they wanted to teach me that experience, I told them they are wrong. I recall telling my people to ask me, why will government of Anambra State have a lodge in Abuja? They said, because every state have it. I said, well, we can't. The government doesn't live in Abuja, so shut it down. Why would this one happen? Why is the government going to have 18 guest houses? They said, because that's the government, because you have guests. These are things we shut down that made us have the money to do the work. So the experience they have is the experience I'm trying to remove. That's the structure that I'm telling you about. What you saw is challenging now is the structure that we are saying we have no structure, we have no structure. That's the experience. As far as I'm concerned, he's at the right age, the right energy, the right educational background, whatever there is that you think is lacking, because of his exposure and everything, he will be able to read it. A job of a leader is always listening and learning. And I did that, and we succeeded. Listen to the people, do what they want, prove your integrity, and look at your background, where you're coming from. Remember that if you steal, it's going to show in the alumni listen of MIT that you're not a thief. Age should not be used, especially to talk about inexperience. I'm also saying that age at certain times should be used to say you can no longer physically, because the job requires physical energy. I can tell you, go and ask those who know me very well. I used to go travel to London and back here 3 times in a week. I arrive in the morning, come back in the evening, arrive in the morning, come back in the evening. Today it's not possible. I was doing it when I was 30s, up to 40. Today I probably need to break it. So if I get to 70 something, it won't be the same thing. If there's anybody who can move anywhere, I went to not just 36 states when I was campaigning. I'm the only person who went beyond. If I go to Ogun, I'll visit another place. If I went to Oyo, I went to Obomosho, I went to I went to Adamawa, I was in Numan, I was in Mubi, I was in Medugri, I was in Biu, I went to Edo, I was in Auchi, Uromi, and this. It was possible. The other candidates can't do the same thing. They can't knock themselves. It has to do with physical energy.
Well, Mr.
And it's important.
We have to begin to wrap up now.
So, Obi, the name is Peter. What God wants to do in Nigeria is that the Lord wants to end a certain generation and start a new building. So he brought this man as the rock where he will stand on him to rebuild.